I think one of the dark sides of doing YouTube is something that a lot of people don't really see, and it's something that like I personally see and have seen for years and years and years, and you keep on plugging along or whatever. And I think that there's even a case where probably even some people that dislike me go, and I've seen some people actually say this to me, and they don't like me. They go, "Man, I got to give you credit. You just keep going and going, despite the fact that, basically people straight up threaten you, bully you, harass you. Like this kind of stuff goes on quite a bit. It goes on YouTube. I mean, it goes on in the comments. It goes on in, the chats. It goes on social media. Thankfully, like on social media, I know a lot of people think that as long as you add somebody at social media, that they're going to see what you have to say, which isn't necessarily the case for me, because the way that I have my Twitter set up, unless you verify your email, I'm not going to see your tweets at me. And the reason why I do that is because trolls won't verify their email. And so you don't see that. It really kind of eliminates a lot of the low quality stuff like that. And you can also filter out words and stuff like that, which is something that I use quite often when I use social media. But something that is it's so funny to me, because originally I was just like this little crappy channel, and I'm still just a crappy channel, whatever. I get the joke, but to me, the interesting thing is, like, I was just doing like reviews and stuff from my gaming clan, and it was not a big deal. I'd put them out and just have fun with it. It wasn't anything special. And I did one video about I was going to buy an Xbox One instead of a PS4, because I could only afford to get one at that time. So you would not believe the amount of like threats and harassment I got over that. And that's how the whole thing started with me and Next Gen, and then we were doing BGST and videos and all that kind of stuff. That's basically how that got started. So but lately it's like the level of harassment is just really unreal. Now, I didn't screen capture it, and I should have before they deleted it, but the same person harassed Red Dragon, who also does like YouTube videos and stuff like that, where the latest thing is these people wish that you catch COVID-19 and wish this stuff on your family. I mean, this is over video games, you know what I mean? And the interesting thing is, for me personally, is I don't understand how this makes much sense. And I realize that there's probably people out there that go, oh, well, yeah, and these are uninformed people, by the way, that maybe have seen something that I've said 7 years ago and that I apologize for, or something that somebody photoshopped that because they don't pay attention to the names or whatever, and they believe that I said or third or fourth hand knowledge or whatever, and so they go, well, you get what you deserve, you know what I mean? Like, the interesting thing is that, to be honest with you, I've never wished harm on anybody, right? Like, I've made some jokes, and I've obviously apologized for all that stuff. People always forget to leave out those parts, and all this stuff is from like 6-7 years ago, and some of it even misunderstandings, but I've never gone out there and wished harm on anybody. I've never wished anybody to get sick or anybody to, like, that'd be absolutely ridiculous. Like, I am the biggest football fan you'll find. I love the Ravens, and I hate, the Steelers and the Browns and the Bengals and the Patriots, and, but I would never wish an injury or a sickness or anything like that on anybody. So to see the level of kind of, I guess, hatred that's really kind of, and lately, it's just gotten to this obscene level where it's surprising, because the funny thing is I get called toxic, quote unquote, quite a bit, or radical, or what have you. And then if you ever look at the things people say about me, even in the comments in my own YouTube, right, it's like super harassment, like, to be honest with you. So I just find it to be very hypocritical and very interesting that kind of happens. And something that you guys probably didn't realize is the level of like death threats that I get, the level of threats to my family that I get, the level of threats to just everything, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Just over a lot of this is just mostly over video games, over opinions on video games, which I find very, very ironic and very interesting, because they're just opinions. I mean, honestly, we all have our own opinions about this stuff. So, like, where does this stuff stop? Is it because I used to be an Xbox guy, and so now everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And but you know what the funny thing is, I'm still an Xbox guy. I was just an honest Xbox guy. So people get pissed off about that. They don't really want to hear the truth about what's going on. They just want to hear like positive stuff, and oh, whoa, okay, that's great. We're Xbox is the best box. As long as you're like chirping for that stuff, then people will always kind of look at this in sort of a way that that we can see what's going on. I like, for me personally, like I said, I don't mind the level of nonsense with me or whatever, right? Like I've always said, I always have respect for the ones that sort of can, like, we can talk trash back and forth all day long, right? We can do that, and as long as we don't get personal, and that's how I prefer it. But then once people start getting personal, that's weird to me, right? Like, why would anybody want to get personal over somebody else's opinions on video games, or threaten somebody over video games? I never understood that. I'll never understand that. And you know what, I quite frankly feel sorry for people that do that. Realistically, it just comes down to cowardice, the anonymity of being on the internet. And it's like, I've never met anybody in real life that has ever behaved in such a way to where they do that. And so you just get the feeling that the people that say these type of things just really just kind of lack courage in general. And so without that safety of being behind that, they would just never do that in real life, in person, or anything like that. And that's probably a very smart thing for them to continue not to do, because at the end of the day, first of all, to make threats on the internet is like one of the stupidest things you can do in the first place, because you're not going to do anything. And on the second place, is it worth it, right? Like, is it worth it to whether, okay, so let's just say you're an Xbox guy or girl, whatever, and you're threatening the other side. That doesn't make your thing look good. It makes it look worse, right? So it makes Xbox look worse. It looks the Xbox community look worse. If you're threatening developers, or you're threatening that group of people, like another thing, like Xbox fans are like harassing Does It Play, which is like this group on the internet, and they test like games. They're all about game preservation, and when they found out that this high level of DRM exists on the Xbox Series X, a lot of Xbox fanboys just took to harassing them, so much so that they had to make their profile private. This is unbelievable stuff to me, like when we see this. And for me personally, I just look at this and I go, I find it to be pretty incredulous that people are just so, are we so, as it's 2021. Are we so used to this kind of stuff that we just let it go? Do we abide by it? Do we not check these people, our own people? Listen, I don't consider me to be a PlayStation guy or a quote unquote pony. I'm just like a gamer. I like having fun with games. I give my opinion on video games, but at the end of the day, it's not worth threatening people and just being kind of an asshole about this kind of stuff, because it's just video games. Like even sports or race cars or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not important enough to do that, you know what I mean? And it just makes whatever it is that you're trying to make it sound good, it just makes it sound worse, and people are gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't do anybody any favors, and that's pretty unfortunate. And so, like, I've noticed the level of threats kind of escalate recently, and people just kind of want to be I guess recognized or whatever by trying to outdo someone else, but basically it doesn't do anything. It's like I'm bringing awareness to it, because I think some people don't realize it. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, because this type of stuff, like I've said, the internet strangers with words never really affects me, because they don't know me. So, like, how could I know you? How could you know me enough to know anything outside of an opinion on video games, right? Like, you don't know me as a person, or what I do, or my life, or my lifestyle, or anything like that. So for you to try to judge that or try to harass that over video games really just is a bad look. So for me personally, I don't take it. But it's like, listen, even if you hate me, right, let's just everybody take a step back and realize what's going on, and realize that these are just plastic boxes. We're all just having fun with them, enjoying the video games. It's not worth threats and harassments and trying to bully people, and not just me but other people as well who might, be a little bit more susceptible to that kind of stuff. So just take some time out to realize that not everything is life or death when it comes to video games. In fact, none of it is, and it's okay to to just accept other people have opinions that are going to be different than yours. So with that being said, thank you so much for checking out my video. Stay cool, stay in your lane, stay having fun with games, but at the end of the day, just remember that we all have our own opinions on this stuff. Thanks for watching. Crapgamer out.